Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Mr. Routhier. Okay, I got a little project I want you to work on. What we're going to be doing is in your Edmodo, you should have a picture of Homer and a picture of a donut. Isn't that nice? Excellent. So, you're going to download those. You're going to open up the picture of Homer. Before we do that, I want to do a little review. I know we're getting ready for this wacky certification thing. So let me just show you something here before we start on Homer. If I am creating a new document, you want to pay attention to this document type. We really haven't talked about that much. But if I click on that, when you are creating a document, it kind of pays to be able to know what kind of document you're creating. If you're creating a photo, if I choose this photo, you can see here it by default chooses a photo with a high resolution RGB color with a nice white background. But what if I choose, hey, I'm going to make an ebook, or I'm going to do something on the web. I can click web, and now I'm going to get this thing in pixels. I'm going to use a common low resolution for the web, 72 pixels per inch. So it's going to be different. You also might be making something for video or for film. Have no fear, here's film and video. And you can see here, if you're going to be doing video, you can choose the kind of video you're doing. Okay, and here's a high definition TV, 1080p, and look at all these different things. So just know that that's there. They could possibly ask you to do something with this size to match a certain type of video. And here you can see you've got your width and height and resolution and your RGB color. Here's your background. Sometimes in video you're going to be asked to put something over a video, so it's going to have a transparent background. So just know, I mean, you already know that you can make this the background transparent. So anyway, so you've got all this good stuff in here. Now, you know how I'm always drilling into you this untitled thing. Oh, always change it. Well, when you're doing the certification thing, if they don't say to do anything to the title, don't do anything to the title. Just leave it untitled, as horrible as that is. If they tell you to change it, of course, then, just change it. Okay, so anyway, that was a little sneak teach there. Don't listen to music right now. Listen to me. Okay, so we're going to open up the Homer file. Here's Homer. Now, Homer is a JPEG, you can see. JPEGs are terrific file formats. They are very small. They can be high resolution. They don't support transparencies or layers or anything. They're just nice, tiny little things, and they're great for the web. Okay, if they ever ask you anything about the web, JPEGs and GIFs are the way to go. Oh, speaking of GIFs are a little bit different. If I was looking at some GIFs on the internet, and for example, here's a Homer one, and he's doing his woohoo, and you can see he's moving. And in a GIF, GIFs can be animated. So just, when you're, again, just know GIFs can be animated, and JPEGs can't. All right, anyway, let's move on back to Homer. Okay, I think what I want to do is I want to add the word Homer to this, and I'm going to use a donut as the O. So let's, how should we do this? First of all, I want you to notice that there's no panels open. All these cool things on the side that you usually see open, I closed them all. When you take the test, they always close these things. So you got to make sure you can open them up. How do I open up my layers? I just go Window and Layers, and now I've got my layers. And if I need anything else, I just got to open the thing up. Okay. Let's see. So let's write Homer down. it sounds stupid, but being able to write on this thing is very important. You have to, there's tons of text formatting. So we're going to use our favorite little thing here, the T, for our text or our type. And remember, the option bar is this thing up here, and this is where all of our options are. You have to know how to use these options. We can change the points. This is how tall it is. A point is actually 1/72 of an inch. So if it says 72 points, it would be 1 inch tall. Here is your left align, center, and right align. Very important. I don't know why they think that's so important, but it is. And then if you have to mess with the color at all, here is your color option. You also have a paragraph tool here, and you may need to use that to alter a few things. Okay, so let's write Homer down. I think 250 point is a little bit too big. Let's go for 100 and see what that looks like. Oh, that's a weird style. I don't even know what that is. All right, let's pick something maybe a little bit more normal here. How about Arial Regular? Okay, H-O-M-E-R. Let's do all caps. Okay, there is my buddy Homer. If I want to move that around, I can use my little move tool. If I want to change that, I can go back to my T, and I just double click on it, and it highlights it all. And I don't like 100. I'm going to crank that up to 125. Okay, and you can see I've got a nice red text here. Maybe I don't want red. I can go into my color panel, and I can choose something else. Or what if I want this to be that nice yellow that Homer is? This is great. Watch this. All I gotta do is move my little cursor down, and see my little I'm pointing at it. You can't see me point, can you? Oh, sorry. You see my eyedropper? If I click on the eyedropper, it chooses that exact yellow that's in Homer's skin. So there we have it. Now it's turned like that. That's nice. Okay. All right, looking good, Homer. Looking good. This unfortunately gets a little bit lost in there, as you can see, because it's the same color. So maybe we need to mess with this text a little bit. What we can do is to make this text look a little bit interesting, is we can apply effects to it. We can also do styles. Let's see. You can't see the styles right now. Here, let me go to my window, and let me turn on adjustments, and libraries and styles appears. So if you need, yeah, they all come out at the same time. But if you just needed styles, I mean, you could just do window styles. And styles are a real easy way of just changing things. You can take a style and just click on it, and it will apply that style to your to the layer that I have there, because the layer is selected. And you see, all a style is it's a bunch of effects. That little FX there means it just has a bunch of effects. And if I double click on this thing, I can see those effects. You can see it goes into this little layer style thing, and I can see all the different things that are going on here. It's got all these different gradient overlays and strokes applied to it. So that is all that thing is. I can let me undo this. Control-Alt-Z, and I can do manually effects this thing. I can just go effects, and let's say I want to do a bevel emboss to try to give it like a little bit of a 3D look. And you can add a little contour to it, and I can mess with the depth, and you can see it change as I mess with it. I can change the size. You know, I can have a nice time with that. So that's all that's going on here with effects. Effects and styles, they're the same type deal. Okay. Now we want to bring our donut in and replace this O with a donut. So let's do that. So I can do, now I've taught you how to open a file, select it, copy it, paste it, and that works very well. You can also, there's also another command called place. And what this does is it places your file inside it. So let's do this. We're going to do file. And now there's two place commands. There's an embedded one and there's a linked one. What the embedded one just throws the file in there. The linked one is kind of interesting. What the linked one does is it links it to the file on my hard drive. Let's do the linked one. This is kind of cool. So I'm going to do place linked, and here's my donut. And do you see this like X over this thing? What this is doing is when you see that X, it means you got a smart object. Smart objects are just images that are shoved into layers, and they can be vector or they can be bitmap raster. I think I've told you this before, but your vector images are made up, are mathematically calculated points and lines and curves, whereas your bitmap or your raster image, you know what that's made up of, right? That's pixels. Okay, so your pixel images distort and blur as they get bigger, whereas your vector images, when they get bigger, they don't care. They still look good. All right, so we'll shrink this donut down so it's going to fit right here. Okay, and all I got to do is hit enter or click on this little check mark, and now we've got the Homer donut here. Now take a look right here. You can see that this donut is linked because it's got the little chain link on there. If I had added the donut the other way, if I had just embedded it, it would have just been a plain old smart object. As it is, this is what's called a linked smart object. Okay, it doesn't say it in the thing; it just says smart object thumbnail. But watch what happens if I throw a embedded one in here. Let's take another donut. Oh, click on the donut, Chuck. Okay, good. And here's a donut over here. We'll place this donut over here. And I'll hit enter. And now take a look at this. It has a slightly different icon. If we, can I zoom in on this? No, it's not letting me zoom in on this. What a shame. Okay, but you can see this top donut. This is the smart object icon, and this is the linked smart object icon. And it's, I mean, it sounds fancy and annoying and weird, but all the smart object is, like I said, it's just an image that's shoved into your layer. Smart objects are neat. The linked ones are really cool because when you update them, they update on the computer. Here, let me show you this real quick. If we open up our donut in Photoshop, and I go in and I change the color. Let's see, how do I fill a color? One thing over here. You know how I always told you to click or double click on these icons to bring up the bonus icons that are hiding in there? The test wants you to right click on it. So right click on these icons to see what's in there. Right click, right click, right click. Where the heck is it? There it is. It's under the gradient tool, is the paint bucket tool. I just click on that and I will change the color to a very, how about a reddish, okay? And you can see how that changed to like a pinkish white. And now I'll save it. Okay, and now if we go back to this document, you can see the linked image automatically updated, but the embedded image didn't, because it was just shoved in there, and so that's that's all that's going on. All right. So anyway, so these are our cute little smart objects. Smart objects have some weird stuff about them. For example, you can take a smart object and you can let's see here, smart objects. You can use the transform tool on these things, but you cannot use the normal editing tools. All right, so watch what happens here. I can take this donut, and I'll use this donut over here, and I can do edit. Remember how to transform? Transform, and here's all our little tools: scale, rotate, skew. Here we'll do the, and we can rotate. We can flip it upside down. We can go clockwise, counterclockwise, whatever. Let's just do the scale. Okay, and I can do whatever I want to this thing, transform-wise. But if I try to go in and use my other tools, if I go in here, and what kind of tools do I have? Blur, sharpen, smudge. Let's burn it. Here's the burn tool. Notice I can't do anything to this thing. In order to change this thing, I have to turn it into a raster or a bitmap. And this thing comes up and says, "Do you want to rasterize it?" So if you want to, you can. But just know that smart objects, you can't do the traditional the editing where you blur it, or you see it gets a little slashy thing there. You can't do anything. I can use my little transform tools, and I can skew it and scale it and stuff, though. So that's just a weird little characteristics of smart objects. Okay, I'm sorry, I kind of got off track here. Now, what I would like to do next is I would like, see that pink around the donut? I don't really like that pink. So we're going to get rid of that pink. And did I mention that you should be doing this along with me? Oh my God, I do not want to re-record all of this. You should be doing this with me. I hope you have been. I hope you have been. All right, so let's. I'm going to assume you've been doing this with me here. Let's. I'm going to zoom in a little here. I'm going to hold the Alt key and just kind of zoom in a little. All right, so let's get rid of this outside, and we're going to do it a non-destructive way. Okay, non-destructive means I don't change the original object. Destructive changes change the original. Destructive is normally a very bad thing because, like if you have a client and he gives you a bunch of pictures, and your job is to make them look better or change them or turn them into a ad campaign or something, and you change original pictures, if there's no backup, they can't get those originals back. And what if there's something important in there? So always a bad idea to be destructive. Photoshop's very nice about being non-destructive. You can apply layers and masks and all kinds of cool things that don't hurt the original image. All right, so back to this thing. I want to get rid of this little purpley thing. I think I'm going to use my magic wand. So again, I come up to the quick selection tool, which is one of my selection tools. That's where you can select your thing in one click. The magic wand is a little bit different in that you have to work at it a little bit more. The quick selection tool is just a one-click thing. All right, so I'm just going to right-click on that so I can find my magic wand. And in this case, this color is all exactly the same. So when I click on it, it should... Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Always make sure you're on the right layer when you try to do something. All right, there's my donut layer. And I'm going to click on my magic wand tool. And there we go. Now I've selected that area. So at this point, I mean, I could hit delete. If I do that, I'm going to be, damaging the object. Not that I probably care, but for this exercise, we're going to pretend that we care. And there's another thing I want to show you. Okay. I can take this selection here, and maybe I'm going to use this selection more than once. You ever done that where you're doing a project for me and you select something and then you lose it and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to do it all over again. No. I can save this selection I just made. The selection is this area inside the marching ants. That's what a selection is. enclosed in your little marching ants. So to do that, if I want to save that selection for later, kind of like, I had Chinese food tonight and I want to save a little bit for later, I can do select, save selection, and I will, let's see, all right, fine, we'll call it Homer. All right, and now I've got that selection. All right, now let's say over this, let's delete our selection here. We're just going to do select, deselect. If I want to get that selection back for any reason, I can load that selection. That's kind of cool. Check it out. I can do select. I can load the selection. And there it is. Kabam. Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful, Mr. Routhier. Thank you for teaching us. Oh, it's nothing, kids. Anytime. I love doing this stuff. Okay, so now I've selected. I'm so sorry. I got this nice little area selected. Instead of destroying this, what I'm just going to do is mask it out. If you come over to your layer panel has everything you need. Make sure you understand this, the heck out of this layer panel. I can come down to my layer panel, and right next to the FX button, there is this very nice layer mask. So I'm going to click on that, and nothing happened. Why did nothing happen? What's supposed to happen is I'm supposed to mask this thing out, but that's not what happened. Why would that be? I don't know, kids. Sometimes I screw things up. Okay, well, we'll just pretend that happened. All right, pretend you can't see it. You'll be like, oh wow, Mr. Routhier, that's cool. Let's get rid of that. That was dumb. All right, let's load that. Hit that selection again. All right, I'm just gonna hit the. Oh, I can't do it because it's not a raster object. All right, well, let's convert this thing because this is getting annoying. Let's right click on this thing. And by the way, if for some reason when you change this file or the file changes somewhere and it doesn't update automatically, if you right click on the folder, you can update all modified content and it will just update it for you. If this thing's not a smart object and you want it to be, right click on the folder and just say convert to smart object. I'm telling you, right clicking is your pal. You can do all kinds of great things with this. What we will do is we will rasterize this thing and we'll get rid of all the smart stuff. There we go. Boom. All right, it's just a donut now. Now that it's just a donut, do you think this mask will work? Here, I'm going to try it. It deleted the donut. Oh god. Okay, let's undo that again. All right, what I need to do is I need to select the inverse of this. So you know how to do the inverse, right? Select inverse. Okay, now let's mask it. Oh my god, it finally worked. Okay, that was amazing, wasn't it? Sorry. This is wacky. Okay, so now we've done that. That's fabulous. We can do the inside too. That would be cool. Let's click on that inside area, and we'll mask that out. And does anyone notice that didn't mask anything? Really? What if I delete you? Yay, deleting it worked. I don't know why masking it a second time didn't work. But I don't want to deal with it right now. So, okay, so here is our Homer. We are looking good. We got Homer. We got that. We got a little donut there. Let's see, what else can we do to this? What if we want to turn... Oh, thanks, Apple, for reminding me. What if we want to turn the Homer layer black and white? Or let's do a sepia. There's this really neat tone or color or whatever called sepia that it makes it look like those pictures from the 1800s, from like the old Western movies, or when they in the Back to the Future where they go back to the Old West. Let's add an adjustment layer and we're just going to put it above Homer, and we're going to turn him black and white, our sepia. All right, now adjustment layers. Our adjustments are up here in these layers. The test likes you to use this little panel right here. So I know I always had you do layer, new adjustment layer, but let's do it the way I really wish I'd taken this test earlier so I knew all the little tricks and stuff that they wanted, so I could have taught you it the right way anyway. All right, and not that there's an exact right way. I mean, any way you get it done is right. Okay, so let's see. We're going to use a hue saturation. See how if you hover over each one of these, they tell you exactly what they are. Hue saturation, look at all these. There's vibrancy, all these great. That kind of looks like a V, doesn't it? All right, hue and saturation. We'll click on that. And a lot of these have this thing called a preset. Just like when we created a new document and you could preset it to web or photo or film, this has different presets in it. If I click on this little bad boy here, you can see there's a bunch of these things in there. We're going to go with the sepia. Okay, and so we have given, where is this adjustment layer that we just created? Hue and saturation, it's right here. All right, I have a question. Why the heck didn't that do anything? You were supposed to change something for me, Mr. Layer. Do I have to clip it? No, clipping it doesn't do anything. All right. Oh my God. Why did that work? All right. Anyway, what I want you to notice is, I don't want that to be a clipping layer. Sorry. This layer here, if I move it up to the top, everything below it is affected. So wherever I move this, if I move it to the bottom, then nothing is affected, right? Can I do that? Oh, it just honestly, it doesn't want to go to the bottom. Maybe it can't go to the bottom. Anyway, these layers are, you have to pay attention where they are, which layer they are, because everything below them is affected, whereas everything above them is not affected. Okay, so there is that. And notice I can't see my picture anymore. I could zoom in and zoom out and stuff, but there's a couple of really neat things that we can do with our view menu. So take a look at your view menu, click on view, and first I want you to see that you can fit something on your screen. And if you can believe it, that's something you actually need to know how to do, how to fit the stupid thing on your screen. We can also turn the rulers on if we want to. Where are you, rulers? Okay, so I can click rulers, and now I have rulers on. And as you can see here, I think these rulers are set to centimeters. If I can do edit, preferences, units and rulers, and I can see that, oh no, it's set to pixels. And I can go in here and set it to inches or whatever I want. There's another really easy way to do it. I just have to right click on this and I can choose, bam, there's centimeters. So that's a terrific way to do it too. Other things in here, there are guides. You can create a guide. And if I do this right here, I can create a guide at 0 centimeters vertically, and so there'll be a guide right here at the beginning, and I could put I could put guides in here. If I really love my guides, I can lock them down so they can't be changed. Then you go view and you can see the guide is locked. Of course, you just have to hit it again to unlock it. I can clear my guides. Unlock you there. When you put items in, you'll notice, like when I take this, where's my donut? Here it is. When I take this item, notice if I want to put this item in between the squares, I can't do it. See how it snaps? Okay. So if this snapping bugs you, you can shut that off. If I go view and uncheck snap, Now I can move this thing exactly, you know, pixel by pixel where I want it to go. So that's another little feature. And let me just show you two more things. Let's say I want to group all this junk together. I got a fabulous little group icon down here. Remember, when you're doing the test next week, always follow the instructions exactly. Follow them in order. Don't make sure you do all the parts and don't add anything. Okay, so you just want to do these things in order, and make sure you're exact too. Like if I make a group here, this is the group icon. See that? Create a new group. I just need to double click on it, and I can call it, you know, the Bob group. And notice I capitalized it. If they tell you to capitalize something and you don't capitalize it, you just got the whole question wrong. So you just want to follow their instructions exactly. Now, if I want to put everything in here, I can just click and hold the Shift key down, and I can just click all the layers. Hey, what happened here? There we go. I can click all those layers, and then I can just drag it in. And it should, why don't you drag it in? You know, just really nothing works the way you want it to. You know, I don't ask for much here. I just want Photoshop to work the way it's supposed to. And for some reason, it won't let me drag the stupid layers in. All right, but that normally works. If you have to drag layers in the test, you just drag them in that way and it works. Don't know why it didn't work this time. It's probably some weird thing I'm doing. Last thing I wanted to show you is, what if I want to get rid of all these layers and make my picture smaller and turn it into a JPEG? Now, this is a very destructive change. You don't want to do this without a backup of this picture. But if I want to flatten all my layers, it's going to be in your layer menu. You just come down to flatten. Boom, and it turns it all into that. And once you do that, look, all of your goodies are gone. I can't change anything or do anything to this picture anymore. It's just a JPEG now. So, okay, well, that was super fun. I hope you enjoyed yourself, or at least, you know, don't hate yourself now that you're done with it. Thank you for listening to me, and hope you have a good weekend this weekend, and talk to you later. Thank you. Bye-bye. Where's the off button on this bad boy? Oh, come on. Where are you? There it is. Okay. Sorry. I'm leaving for sure this time. Bye.